Okay, Harry, what mood is this?
All right.
Hey, Harry, you giving Pitbull a run for the DJ money? What you doing? That's a nice vibe, Harry. We can make a mixtape.
I think
Throw it
that's
on the back of our cars.
I think that's Caleb from the Joe Ugly show.
I love it.
Yeah. So
Can we
anyway,
play that without getting knocked off the air?
uh yeah, actually that was your intro this morning.
I love it.
So you're listening to LoveBabz Love Talk on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
You know I like a good jam, Harry. You know I like a good jam. I like a good jam. It is. What is today? It's today. What is today? Wednesday.
Thursday.
It's today. You know, Harry, having a Monday off just throws me all the way off. I'm like, I got up this morning like, oh, what? Oh, it's Thursday. Okay, Friday Eve.
Yeah, Friday Eve.
And the weather's gonna be next week, Harry. It's gonna be summer. It's gonna be in the 90s. Harry, I can't wait. I'm gonna open all the windows. I'm gonna put on my slinky stuff, sandals.
Well, the opposite is gonna happen for me. I'm gonna close all the windows and
Boy,
turn up the AC.
it's too early for AC, Harry. Get some of that heat.
I took some of that heat last week. The
Harry,
humidity is.
it was only heat for one day, Harry. One day, and it wasn't even hot. Like 75, not even 80 degrees.
It got in the 80s over here. It was sticky humid. That's what I hate. I could deal with 90 as long as it's not a wet night. You know.
So, are you gonna read Juneteenth?
I
Yes, you are. Come on. We can't let Betsy down.
I don't have the book.
Harry, you know they sell it, and you know you have gazillion accounts. That's just Harry. That's just a click on Audible. That's just a click on Amazon. And if you got a library app, just check it out the library, like on your device.
I don't that would be a lot of people on one show.
Me, you, Paul, and Betsy.
Yeah, so I think you, Paul, Betsy need that time to
Harry,
express.
don't try to extract yourself. I see what you're doing. Because she deliberately wants you on it because she likes you.
I like Betsy too.
Not enough to read the book and be on the show.
I don't know.
I'm gonna try to knock it out this weekend. I don't know when's she thinking of doing this. She didn't say.
Yeah, I don't know if I could focus. I'll buy the book this way. I don't have an excuse. But
You know you're not Bella's age. You can focus. Take some page from your granddaughters. They are focused. One's a fashionista and one's a martial artist. Don't get no more focus than that.
Yeah, right now I've quit the last 3 books I started.
Why?
I'm just not in that.
I've only quit one book in my whole life. One.
I've done it with 3 in the last 2 weeks.
And I'll finish a book even if I hate it.
As a matter of fact, I'm like, I don't even know. I know I'm not focused because I don't even know where I left off. I have to.
Well, you know what? You can always pick them up later when you feel more inclined to do so. Yeah. I tell you, Andrew and I are going to take swing dancing.
Swing dancing.
Not the Lindy Hop kind of swing dancing, but that old school way. The black people. The old school black people have. You ever see the old school Chicago black people? Texas black people.
So right off the bat, Andrew starts at a disadvantage.
Well, there's that.
I forget what it. There's this show. Oh, the Clarice Show. You know
Oh,
the
I stopped watching it because it's just it scares me too much, Harry. I cannot take it. It's too much.
there's this part that she's in the car and the guy tells her she's rambling about something, and the guy tells her, "Slow down," and she says, "No, you catch up." I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I like. I like that attitude.
Wait, are we in the part of that show, Harry, where they started accepting her abilities? Because in the beginning, they was like trying to shut her down, and she was like, and she's the only one solving this stuff.
Yeah, she's there, but right now they're
But is her
dealing
boss like better towards her? Because like, listen, this is my shop, this is my deal.
right.
know,
I mean, right now they're in the middle of dealing with the race issue.
okay.
So her
Aren't we
friend,
all?
well, her friend who doesn't get credit for anything.
Yes, the black woman.
Yeah, and she's they're happy with leaving her in the background and not giving her credit for anything. So her friend is fighting for her rights right now, and she told Clarice, "Look, I'm gonna use you. You might get thrown under the bus, but this is about me. It's not about you." So, and in the show, Clarice supports her. So that's what they're dealing with right now. But they are starting to understand how her mind works. So
Okay.
yeah, but it's a good show. It hasn't gotten canceled.
No,
By the
it's a
way,
little it walks on the creep side for me, Harry. I watched the first couple of episodes and then I was like, see, this is too much for my brain.
oh, by the way, All Rise, which you just started seeing, they
I know they
canceled it.
can't. I know, Harry, and I've been saving it.
That's horrible. I mean, that's one of my favorite shows on TV right now.
I'm always suspect the way they keep some shows and they ditch some other ones because some of these shows they keep are trash. I
Yeah,
think this is hidden racism. That show was good. It's got a good cast. It's got good energy. It's got too many black people.
well, I don't know. It could be. I mean,
I think it's got too many
because
black people,
this is a quality show. It's not just
and it got too many women. Many women and too many women of color.
yeah.
I see it.
I don't understand why they would cancel a show like
And you would think that they would make that the centerpiece. In this climate, Harry, they would push this and be like, look what we're doing over here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But CBS ain't really strong like that.
I don't know. They have a lot of
They don't have no black people on there.
no, but they have a lot of these legacy shows that have been there forever.
Like these NCIS 2000s,
it's
3000. I'm like,
yeah.
How is Mark Harmon ready to retire?
And that's it's not a quality show.
And the other show, I mean, there's a bunch of them. NCIS. I'm waiting for NCIS Hartford.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
That would be the most boring show ever.
And they also canceled the new show or Debris. It's called Debris.
I watched a little bit of that. That's where the alien ship or something, and then these people have all these powers and weird things.
Yeah. An alien ship explodes in our atmosphere.
Yeah, and all these pieces fall to the ground, and then it has effect on people.
Yeah.
I saw the ones when the bodies were floating.
Yeah.
And the girl was trying to save the mother, and the mother wasn't dead, but she was floating toward it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that it was a great show, but it was just getting its footing. The writing started to get better and everything. I was there just because I'm into this alien stuff, and and everything. But
Yeah, see, I liked it too because of that alien piece. But then I
yeah,
lost track of it. Like you know, you just so many shows, Harry. I mean, come on, I lost track of it.
yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of shows, a lot of new shows coming because they canceled a lot. I don't understand their standards. They should give a show more than 6 episodes.
I think because some shows, Harry, they'll move it all around until it finds an audience, and then some shows they just like Queen Sono on Netflix. They just dropped it, and I get why because the pandemic and that show is shot all over Africa, not just one place. So there were so many places they couldn't go. So we're like, all right. But I'm like, why can't you just make Africa in the studio like everybody else?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean that
why
is
did fly to Atlanta and shoot at Tyler Perry's place? He got all that, those,
well, yeah, that's a problem with the actors, right? So um they've been on hiatus for so long. A lot of the actors took other projects. Um so yeah, that's something from COVID that kind of messed up Hollywood.
Yeah. And it's
But
still messed up, but they're slowly getting back. I mean,
yeah,
they're slowly going back, but there's a lot of time that was lost, right?
yep.
Like a lot of time.
And that's the thing that even that show All Rise, they they actually were able to adapt, and they actually did a Zoom show when they couldn't be in the studio, and it was a good show. It wasn't like there was a huge drop off,
Right.
and
But maybe we can start a petition, Harry. Like, don't cancel our damn show. Oh, we can do it, Harry. People do it all the time. Fans do it all the time.
or have one of the companies, Netflix or Hulu, pick it up.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. That
because
was
especially like you
but
said,
they didn't cancel Bull though, right?
I don't think so.
And that's a ridiculous show.
Especially that show that's like you said, woman driven
Yeah.
and
I
everything.
see you, CBS.
Whatever.
See you. We see you. See you. So so uh so the three opposing parties got together in Russia, I mean in Israel, and
Israel.
they're gonna oust they think they're gonna oust Netanyahu.
Oh yeah, he this has
Is
happened
he
before.
out?
He This has happened before, and he's
I'm gonna
fought
wait
it.
till he out.
Yeah,
You
you gotta wait till he's out to say
gotta
he's
wait
out.
out, Harry. They can rally all they want and show, and they're all three very different, right? One is one is like the one they don't even want in the group, but they're
Well,
gonna be in the group.
this is the thing. How do they? I understand wanting him out. Um, but how do you form a government to govern with all the sides? So there's so much tension between all the sides.
Well, that's what you do. But this might work, Harry. You bring the three differing parties together, and you make one party, and everybody gets heard. I mean, within a week they're gonna be fighting, but somebody somebody's gonna get up and walk the hell out, Harry, and then it's gonna be back to business as usual. But on its merit, they could get a Pulitzer for this. I mean, they could get a Nobel Peace Prize for this if they could pull this off.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I want to see who ends up being a leader and how do they govern. It's different when you're governing than when you're outside
I know,
criticizing the
as
king.
we well know.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. Um, but I mean, the Middle East is always in turmoil. Um, this isn't new. I think Netanyahu's been on the bubble for the last 10 years,
Well,
right? 12 years, and it's like each time they think they have him out.
well, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna wait till it's done. right? Like, because he's an old school schemer, right? Like he'll pull a rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, he knows his Israeli politics.
So I'm just going. But it's interesting though. I was looking at that. I was like, I'll get out a week. They might be able to oust them, but they're not going to be able to rule because they're gonna.
No, it's gonna be
It's gonna be, people gonna be like, damn it, just bring Netanyahu back.
remember when they took out Saddam Hussein? They thought, what
Yeah.
a good idea to take out
Oh
this
yeah.
monster.
And come to find out, he was the one holding it all down for them, keeping the terrorists out.
Yep.
Dummies.
He was keeping Iran at bay, and
He was juggling all the things. And then as soon as they killed him, oh, that's what he was doing. Like, and they only did it because they just wanted to say that, they just wanted to show fight, right? Like, because it really wasn't diplomacy. It wasn't about what was in the best interest of that region,
no, well, Iraq made no sense at all, right? Iraq made absolutely no sense. For me at the time, I think it was it was something that Bush Jr. was doing in the name of his father, because
I don't think it was him. I think it was everybody behind him.
Saddam had
what's his face? The vice president guy. What's his name?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think it was
Dick Cheney.
Is he still alive, Harry?
He's still alive. You know, he got that
I'm surprised he didn't do no talking for his daughter.
He got that experimental heart.
I guess he's like, listen, I gotta protect my heart. I can't be out here fighting these dumb Republicans.
That's right.
I need to keep my heart right. Fighting with them, I'll die.
I know one of the Bushes just announced that they're running for governor in Texas.
Like one of the young ones?
Yeah, one of the
offspring?
Nephews or something, yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, it ain't like they ain't had a Bush for governor before.
Right. And he's motivated by the
the fool that's in there now.
Yeah, the voting bill that just
it's just Harry, that is so outrageous. These people are
so,
listen, we want to stop people from voting, but more importantly, we don't want Black and brown people to vote. I would have more respect for them if they just came out and said that. Like, I don't want Black people voting.
My tattoos look better on camera than in real life. They look like they just got inked on camera.
Oh, because you know why? Because this is 2-dimensional.
Yeah, and in real life it's faded. It's like, damn, it looks good.
I'm glad you're admiring yourself. Good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. What else is going? I wanted to talk about. So yesterday was the annual meeting for the Arts Council, and Daisy Abreu was our chair, and now I'm the new chair, the Arts Council board. Yes.
Here you go, taking.
See, I knew you would see it that way. I could always depend on Harry to cut right to the chase. Would see it that way. Like that's just.
Well, at least you'll have stuff to talk about.
I'm on the board. I don't really talk too much about.
I know, but when you spread yourself so thin, you're doing something all the time, so you'll something.
Yes. Yes, awesome. That's awesome. And then Juneteenth is coming up, so the Juneteenth celebration is going to be at Dixwell Plaza on the 19th. And I'm doing the facilitating the Black hair conversation that day too for the Arts and Ideas. I'm excited about that. Oh, where'd you go? Just left your library empty.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get a shirt.
Oh, because you don't want to do day 2 of exposed arms? Harry, you're not naked. I don't, uh, I don't understand this real craziness around um putting on clothes that you don't need to. I guess it's out of a t-shirt. It's not even a V-neck. It's like a turtleneck t-shirt. Saying, uh, the DeBose Walton campaign is opening her office Sunday, June 6th at 2 o'clock on 292 Whaley Avenue. I don't know where that is. I don't know where that is on Whaley. I don't know if that's upper, lower. Um, Gotta go see.
Oh, had a hard time choosing between my black shirts.
I could tell. Do I want to wear this black one or that black one? Maybe that black one over there.
Yep.
Harry, you are a New Yorker for true. Black is your uniform.
You know, I was in the 80s what we wore.
Oh
In
yeah,
the 90s.
tomorrow's Criminal Justice Insider. So I got 9 o'clock with Jeff. And o'clock with just
Yeah, so Jeff is the guest tomorrow.
yes. No, he didn't tell me, he just like did it. Yeah.
He's happy. He's
He
overjoyed.
is. He is. I want him to be happy and overjoyed. He deserves all the good things.
Yeah.
All the good things.
You know, Karen is gonna get trained. I don't know if she's gonna get trained as a doula.
Oh,
She
I've
wants to
got a
start.
good friend who's a doula,
Yeah, she wants to start doing doula
helping women deliver babies.
doula
And you
stuff.
know what? We need women of color helping women of color have babies
Yeah. So
because
she's really excited about
we are dying in childbirth. We die more in childbirth now than we did when we were enslaved. And I think because we let white people didn't bother us. We had midwives and doulas. White
it.
people all up in there now. It, that's just what it is for me. I don't care if I'm wrong or whatever. But I think Western medicine does us no real. Western medicine is harmful on a lot of levels to us. That's all I'm saying. Good on a lot of levels, but it's very myopic in the sense that it does not culture and people in the way that it should.
Well, and Karen's been an advocate for women last 30 years. So every role she's taken, she's involved in helping women of color.
Good. We need more doulas. I'm not kidding you.
So
I have a good friend who's a doula in Tennessee. She
yeah.
live here, but she's a doula in Tennessee. And she just helped deliver a baby the other day.
Then we have a doula on.
We had a deaf doula.
Well, maybe I should take that up.
Oh. No, because that would involve you being involved with people.
Karen will bring them in and I'll
Take
take
them
them
out. I don't know if you've got the temperament for that,
No,
Harry.
I don't have anything.
No. The minute a family member starts to cry, you're done.
I'm like, gonna help
Something.
that person over there. Where's Babz when I need her?
I'm like, you're the deaf doula. Come on.
Oh no, yeah.
Like, Harry, the deaf doula part, you still have to shepherd people. Like, you still have to.
I'll just be like, fuck.
God, remind me not to have you at my bedside when I'm when I'm transitioning. Like, don't let Harry in.
Yeah, when my father was passing, um, you know, my father and I had a rough relationship. Um, but when he called when his wife called that he wanted to see brother and I, he was on his deathbed and everything, and I saw all the regret in his eyes, and I still couldn't be. I still couldn't.
Empathetic.
Yeah, I still couldn't get. I just said, I'm a grown man. Forget about what you did or didn't do for me. You could you could go on with a clean conscience. If you're there struggling about what you did or didn't do for me, just forget about it because I'm grown. I'm not gonna move on from here thinking, oh, my dad is dying and he's feeling guilty. That's on you, but go to go to the light and don't worry about me.
Harry, no, you didn't.
I was compassionate. I was as compassionate as Harry could be. I told them, I didn't say it in a rough way. I just said,
I mean, at least you didn't strong arm him to the light.
no. And I actually fought for him on his hospital bed with the doctor and nurses who wanted to um keep him alive and suffering. And I talked to him. I was like, did you do a DNR and all of that stuff? And he was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And I'm like, he's ready to go. Cut all the stuff out. Just let him go. But
I mean, you know what? You respected his wishes, so there you go.
yeah, and I didn't want to stay another day in New York. But
you did. Okay, Harry. See, I was feeling
no,
some kind of way until you added that piece, and then when you add that piece, I was like, "Damn it, I got sucked in again."
no. That was bad. I should have added that piece. But I did, I did what I had to do, I think, as a son, which is relieve you of whatever it is you're feeling. Because I've been done for a long time. So, I think that's what you could give a person. I wasn't going to sit there and try to connect and cry over something that is done. Maybe that's what he needed. But like my psychologist told me one time, you have 6 or 7-year-old Harry tucked in a closet, and you protect him like a pit bull. You don't want him to come out and get hurt. And I'm like, yeah. And if that's where these sessions are leading, where little Harry got to come out that closet, he's never coming out. I'm gonna protect him to the end.
How are you protecting him, though? He might want to get out, Harry, so that he can deal with wounds.
Nothing good could come out of that. Little Harry was all about rage in my young teenage and early 20s. All about the rage. And now little Harry's not gonna come out to cry. He's just angry. So, but hey, look. All of the talking I did was kind of dealing with that stuff. But I'm never gonna go to a place where I'm not comfortable going just because of a physician or a medical professional tells me, hey, this is where you need to go. Nope. If I don't feel it, I'm not going there. But I had a psychologist. I had a psychologist once that just fell asleep.
I'm just gonna leave this alone.
Just fell asleep in front of me, and he had sleep apnea.
So he
So
was
he was
snoring.
so he was literally like dying in the middle of the session and then coming back. He'll go
Oh my God.
and then go. And I'm like,
I hope you left him.
oh, I recorded him. I recorded him so that when my bill came, I sent him the video.
Oh, Harry.
He said, "No,
Really?
yeah," because I was like, because I did leave him, and then I wasn't gonna pay that bill. When he's just, I went to like 3 sessions with him, and each session he fell asleep in the middle. I told him, get your, I say, I gave him some medical advice. I said, you have sleep apnea, and you should get that taken care of. This is the video. I'm not paying my bill.
Left you alone?
Yeah, he said sorry. He sent me an email apologizing. Yeah, okay, we good.
I will tell you, Harry, I never enjoyed therapy. I never had a therapist I enjoyed. I always had therapists who um, a little bit on the disrespectful side, I think. So I never had a good experience. The only time I had a good experience in therapy is when Lawrence and I were our first year of marriage. We were having real problems, and we had a therapist for that. And for a year, we were in therapy, and it was good, really good. But beyond that, I went for therapy for my childhood abuse. I mean, they just couldn't believe, or they wouldn't accept that I was fine in I was dealing with what I was dealing with. So they always was like, I don't know, they just always was like, what are you hiding? That kind of thing. Like, what are you masking? I'm like, what you see is what you get. I'm not masking. I'm fine. I know what happened was horrific. I've been working through it, but I didn't stay in that spirit. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not a child.
Right. So
It's
see, that's
not happening now.
that's what I'm saying. Right? That's what I mean by, wait, you want me to go to 7 years old into a closet where I'm hiding? I'm not that kid no more, and I'm not gonna deal with it.
Yeah, that's how I felt too, Harry. I was like, I didn't want to go back to, and I have lots of memories, and I journal. I mean, I just thought the therapist missed the mark on what needed to happen at this point. I understand what I get it. Some people you got to drag them back so that they can dissect, the pain points, But I already did that, right? Like I already know what hurt. I already know. I know how I felt. I'm very clear about how I felt, how the adults didn't protect. I worked all that out. Now I'm just trying to get to the. So I just said, you know what? I have to do this by myself. I mean, I have to do this another way without that kind of support because I just couldn't. They just couldn't understand what I was trying to do, and I understood what they were trying to do, but it just didn't make sense.
Well,
And
right.
I hate to say this, Harry, because I don't want people listening to me thinking that they should give up their therapy because whatever. I don't want people because I think therapy is necessary and useful.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing, right? Is you use your life as your own therapy session,
Right, right, right,
which is what I did, right? So,
right. Exactly. And that's what Oprah did. That's what a bunch of people have done that.
right,
That's why none of us are drug addicts. That's why none of us are bouncing off the walls or serial killers. That's why none of
right,
us have alcohol problems. We don't have any of those problems because we use our life as therapy.
right. And my last therapist, because I've never had a therapist I didn't enjoy this. It's always difficult. But the last therapist I had, she was like I was talking to my grandma. So it was it was a totally different thing. I could open up as much as I would open up to my grandma, which was limited, but she made that's the only thing that the last therapist I had did make me feel comfortable enough to speak.
Well,
Um
I have this uncanny ability. When I talk to people, Harry, I end up having them tell me more about themselves than I do. And that's my dating life, that's my friend life, that's my therapeutic life. So you know what I mean? So none of that really is good for me because I become the catalyst for the conversation, right? Like I drive the conversation, whereas the therapist now the roles are reversed because I'm like, I swear to God,
yeah, but it's because that's who you are, right? So you can't have therapy unless it's conversational,
right?
right? So that's why you get to that point. So I've always been the same way, where you know,
Ooh,
if
that's the
it's if it's
truth.
just if it's just gonna be me talking to you, this is really not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work
Yeah.
because I will be interested. Because I will just, yeah. I mean, I know how I converse with people. I like a two-way exchange. So if you're sitting there waiting for me to just sit there and drone on about, well, when I was 12, when I was what's the movie with I was a poor little black kid in Alabama.
Yeah, that's the jerk with Steve Martin.
Sure.
I was
It's
born a
just
poor black child.
you're sitting there waiting for me to do that. It's not happening. Because I don't. First of all, that's just not. I think you're right. That's just not in my DNA. To sort of, I am a conversationalist, and I like a two-way exchange. And that's why I don't date well. This is exactly why I don't date well, Harry. Because what happens is the other person just becomes. They just think I open the door to them telling me stuff, and they just think, oh, she just wants to know everything, and then and I just sit there and I'm like, okay. And I never get to talk. So that doesn't work. I was like, okay. So then I just ask pointed questions. Oh, they just I, that's why it doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah, but you're you're trying to, have you ever seen the what is this, the 30-second date? You ever seen that?
No. Uh-uh.
Um, they have them in different places where you go and you have 30 seconds to get to the point, and if you don't connect in those 30 seconds, you move on.
Oh, is that on YouTube? I'll go look that up.
It's,
That's like
it's speed,
speed dating.
speed dating. It's speed dating, but it's a quicker. It's lightning speed dating,
Okay.
and it's like you got to do it real quick, and that's why all you're doing is saying, "Listen, you better impress me in the next 30 seconds, or this is just a dead date. Let's just go our separate ways right now. If I can't have a conversation with you."
The only person who I've ever really, I mean, I've enjoyed talking to a lot of people, but the only person that is very attentive to me is Andrew. Andrew is ridiculously attentive. And then not only is he attentive, he remembers and recalls stuff. Freaks me out all the time. He's like, oh, you remember we talking about this or you said this? What? Harry, I was like, Harry, I was like, Andrew, that was like 3 years ago. He's like, you remember that? He's like, yeah. He's like, I remember everything you said.
Yeah,
Everything? You're like,
but
yeah,
that
Babz, I listened to you.
but that's his training, Babs.
Well, yeah. Oh no, don't let me forget. Don't let me don't let me forget that. You're right, Harry. That's but he's probably the only guy that I've been in settings with who I actually enjoy talking to in an exchange. Like I enjoy him. Like I enjoy him. I've not enjoyed anybody like that in a very long time. I don't even know if there's anybody I have enjoyed that way. So, yeah. So he's my standard. Like if you don't show up like Andrew, get the hell out of here. Don't waste my time. Like if you're not, and he's a good conversationalist too, and he's a good storyteller, and he's like, and when we go out, he puts his phone away. He leaves his phone in the car. Oh,
The training over here, training over there.
no, not yet. That's why I got on yellow because I figured it's gonna rain today. I'm not in the mood for gloom.
Training hard. Yeah.
Oh, I have to go to podiatrist. Podiatrist,
Just
11:30.
getting your
He's gonna,
feet done.
but he cuts my toenails because I'm a diabetic. Almost. Yeah, I'm a diabetic. So he cuts so he hacks up my. I schedule my podiatrist the day before I go get my pedicure because he hacks up my existing pedicure. Harry cuts them. He don't care. He's not about the aesthetic. So we just have to cut the toenails. So I go to Sammy, who does my manicure and pedicure, um, to have my
All of
toes
that,
look.
all of that stuff is scary to me. It's like going to the dentist.
Going to the
Um,
podiatrist is scary. Just sit there, they cut your toenails.
I've been
I
once.
love somebody doing that, Harry.
I've been once, but it wasn't for myself. It was I was taking a client when I worked at a group home. And I don't know, it seemed like torture to me. It's like the
I
client
just
was so uncomfortable in the
Why?
chair.
Well, some people don't like their feet touched. I don't
Yeah.
care because listen, I'm a woman of a certain age. I have diabetes. I'm not trying to go out like these other black people. Whatever I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna go do. So I go get my toes nails clipped, and then I take my little butt to my manicurist pedicurist, and she makes them
So
pretty.
so you go because you have diabetes. I've never heard this, so bear with me. So you go to the podiatrist because of diabetes.
Yes, because if diabetes shows up, it shows up in your. I mean, the challenges of diabetes, Harry, is poor circulation, and so people this is how the people get their toes and feet amputated and legs because they don't pay attention to their feet. That's the first sign that something is wrong. Circulation stops in your toes. So my internist, my primary care physician, he makes sure that I have all the things so that I have a good life. And I listen to him. Like some black people, Harry, they don't listen. Like my ex-husband, he done had 2 or 3 toes chopped off because he just wasn't paying attention to his feet. Now they
Oh
told
my
him the
god!
next thing your feet gonna get chopped off.
Now you're making me want to go to a podiatrist.
So I go and they examine your feet. Every year I get the test to see if I'm losing sensitivity in my feet. I'm losing, and I'm not, but they check, you know, and then they inspect my toes, make sure circulation, there's no infection. There's not. So, and he cuts the toenail. So, and it's not I go every 3 months.
I got
So,
I got to check it out because I've lost a feeling in my feet, but it was from my back surgery. So I wouldn't know if something else is happening because I already have that. Right?
Yeah, so you want them to, because you want somebody to go and look at your feet and just stay on top of that. Like, do you cut your own toenails or Karen cuts your toenails?
Karen, yeah.
Okay. Well then, all right. So you got somebody. So you got somebody maintaining your toenails, and she would notice if you had an infection or if they were turning green, or you had a bump or something was pussing or whatever.
No, no. I would notice too.
No, but most, Harry, believe it or not, people think they notice, but if you don't have any feeling, that's one of the things with diabetes. If you don't feel it, or if you notice it, you think, oh, it'll just go away. Oh, it's just a small bump. Oh, it's just a little pussy thing. I'll wash it, it'll dry, it'll go away. Then the next thing you know, by the time you do go to the doctor, it's a full grown infection. And then there's nothing they can do if it gets gangrene. There's no cure for gangrene except amputation. That's like some Civil War mess, but that's
Now you're scaring me.
I don't want you to be afraid. I want to arm you with knowledge so that so that you don't be one of these people that'll lose a limb, because that's where it begins right there. That's how people lose their limbs.
Yeah, it's crazy because I do have, what do they call it? I forgot what they call it. Neur,
Neuropathy.
neuropathy. Um, on both of my legs going down to my toes. So I do have the issue that on most days you can stick a pin on the outside of my leg and I won't feel it.
Yeah.
So I have that issue. So I'm a pre-diabetic.
Okay.
So
do you know what your A1C is?
6.7.
Okay, that's a little high. Now it's not. It's in the. I think when you get to 7, it becomes
No,
problematic.
wait. The last one I had went down to 6.4.
Okay, that's pretty good. Mine's is 5.8 now.
Oh, you're great.
Yes, I'm beyond I'm not even really consider. I'm at pre. This is below pre-diabetes.
Yeah,
so.
you're not to the diabetic right
Right.
now.
But I'm still taking my meds because
Yeah.
because it could change. But that's what you want. You want the medicine to get you to the place where medicine and diet. Because I was on a vegan diet, coupled with intermittent fasting for the year leading up to this surgery. So that changed all the numbers. They got all the numbers right.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose my toes and feet, Harry. That and I work with a guy just had his toes and feet, his toes amputated. Then he had to go back in and have more toes. I was like, listen, you only got 5 toes on each foot.
I thought all of that stuff was old stuff.
No.
I didn't know they're still amputating people for diabetes. I thought we had.
No.
Regress.
You know how much amputation happens, particularly with Black people, because they your feet get pussy and you don't deal with it. You just don't deal with it. Like, oh, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't whatever. It'll go away, it'll get better, I'll dry it out, I'll just, and that's not what it is. It's an infection.
In my family, the last person was a great aunt. My grandfather's sister that got her leg chopped off from the knee down because of her diabetes. From there, the problems that have been in my family from diabetes, because it's like we all suffer from some form of diabetes. There's been kidney problems because
yes, that's another issue.
So that in my family runs pretty deep. I have people. My brother right now is on the kidney list, on the donation list, because he lost the kidney, so he's in dialysis.
Oh, see, that's the stuff I don't want. I go to an eye specialist, I see an ophthalmologist, I see an eye doctor, and I see an eye specialist because I'm diabetic. So that they look at the back of my eye to make sure there's no diabetic tears in my eye. I have none. I have glaucoma, It's managed. I mean, not doing anything. It's just there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and
I
I
went
take drops every day. I take drops at night to lower the pressure in the back of my eyes. Uh, but yeah, I see the eye specialist twice a year, and they monitor to see if there's tears in my eye, if there's because what happens with people with diabetes. Another thing, if you don't get your eyes checked, you lose your eyesight. I don't want to lose my damn
Yeah.
eyesight. I don't want to lose any. I don't want to lose kidneys, eyesight, or limbs.
I just got the notification yesterday.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.
So I just got the notification yesterday that my eye exam, is up. I have to go and make an appointment. And it's because that also because the possibility of diabetes. But the last exam I had, they just said I had no problems associated with diabetes, but I had the start of a cataract.
Okay. So you need to stay on top of that. I mean, they
Yeah.
can take a cataract out, right? So, I mean, that's an outpatient thing.
Yeah, laser.
But you just have to stay on top of it because we want our eyesight. So I mean, I'm aging, so I want to age well. So I do all the things. I'm not one of those people. I do what I'm told around what they ask me to do around taking care of myself. So if I got to go get my little toes chopped up, go get it chopped up, and then I go right to Sammy, and then she fixes them. Paints my toes real pretty, cleans up the hacking job that the podiatrist did.
You know, I took when my daughter was in her teens, I took her to get a pedicure, and she talked me into sitting in the seat next to her and getting a pedicure. I remember that because I was like, wow, for some reason I thought it isn't something a man would do, right?
Oh, men do it all the time, and women like men with nice feet.
And I did it, but I remember I came home and in the news there was a report about some lady getting some fungus or something that killed her from a pedicure or something.
Oh yeah, that's you go to those places and they're not sterilizing,
And I
they're
was
not
like,
cleaning their equipment.
yeah, I was like shocked into because I was thinking, man, I could do this maybe once every 3 months or
You just
something.
got to find the one that you trust and that's reputable, and that you see them bringing out fresh tools, sterilized tools. I mean, I go to Sammy. All her stuff is first of all, Sammy is a one-shop person. You have to make an appointment. You can't just walk in there. And her tools, she's sterile. I mean, she's just amazing. And there's no people in there waiting. It's just her shop, right? And you make an appointment and you go, and there's no waiting and all that kind of stuff. So I go to her, and she keeps me right. She does my nails, she does my toes. That's my treat. I get a pedicure and a manicure once a month. Once a month, I
Yeah,
spend $100 and I get it all done, and
yeah.
I'm happy.
They've actually been taking Bella to get manicure and pedicure after her fights. So
Oh,
that's that's
teach her
one
how to take care of herself.
that's one of her treats.
Yeah, that's what I it was a commitment I made because people are like, oh, you could do your. I don't want to do my own. I like somebody doing it. Like the reason why I like to
Yeah,
eat out all the time. I like somebody else doing the damn cooking. It's
yeah,
not that I can't cook. I can cook just fine. But it's something to be said for somebody to bring you a hot plate and you just get the hell up and leave. You don't got to worry about the dishes or any of that.
yeah. When Daisy stays over here, she's always that's one of the things she's like, Bubby, I want my feet and my hands done. Like I'm like, did you make an appointment?
Oh, oh my God. The funny one, that one. She's going to give you a run for your money.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be the middle child.
Yeah, and you know what they say about the middle children.
It's gonna be
Yeah, have to fight for some attention. Just
Mhm.
make sure you give her extra attention because
Yeah.
all your hopes and dreams are on the first one because you're so excited that you got your first one, and then you get the newest one is the baby, and everybody just ooh
Yeah.
baby, and the middle child is just like chopped liver.
Well, yeah. So I mean, her father's been making sure he gives her as much as attention as he developed. So he's been taking her to dance and all that lately.
Oh,
So yeah.
plus she's not a shrinking violet, so will
No,
command
no,
some
no.
attention.
AC lives out loud.
Daisy is gonna command. Listen, we share the same birthday.
She lives out loud.
Gonna command some attention. You're like,
Yeah.
y'all think you're not gonna hear me? Y'all gonna hear me and see me. Yes, I'm with Daisy. Daisy is my girl. So yeah, I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad at her. So I'm trying to think if I want to watch the movies this weekend. Ugh, I don't know if I want to go to the movies. I have to see what's out there. I'm not going to the movies anytime soon because there's nothing I want to see just yet. Something has to really make me want to go to the movies.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to go see the Godzilla movie, the theaters. I'm not even sure if they have that.
What?
The
Godzilla?
Godzilla in the theater. I,
Uh,
I figure they should bring some of those back that we weren't able to see with COVID. Um,
I think they're gonna put some movies back in the theater, Harry.
yeah, you basically have to because you would make more money.
Mm.
Um,
But
yeah,
I do think though, Harry, people like being able to stream that stuff at home. I don't think that's gonna go away. Like I don't think streaming stuff at home is gonna go away.
oh yeah, they do have it in the
What, Godzilla?
yeah, something. Yeah, I haven't paid.
Although I'm not paying $30 to see stuff. Like
Yeah, I'm not
I'll
paying.
just wait a week and it'll stream. Like I'm not that hyped for that kind of thing anymore.
But you know what? With HBO Max, I didn't think it was worth it, but
I
it's
have it.
yeah,
So I
it's
love it.
worth
Yeah.
it
It's on my Fire Stick.
if you're just gonna. I think it's $14 a month or something like that. And
I don't know. My daughter pays because it's her gift to me. So whatever she pays,
yeah, so it's like $14 a month, and you get to see all the premieres. It's crazy.
I love it. I can do it I can stop it and pause it when I want. Okay, I like this. I'll go back and see what I can watch this weekend. Like, oh, let me go see. And then I was down at my sister's house when we were on our way to North Carolina for my cousin's funeral. Yeah, my sister completely untethered. So she doesn't have like a direct TV or Comcast or any of that. They just stream stuff from whatever, the Fire Stick or whatever. Yeah, the Fire Stick. So she get a lot of the free like Pluto. I have Pluto on my desktop. I didn't realize how good Pluto was, Harry,
Yeah,
to watch all the design shows that I like. And I mean, they have so many good things. I was like, oh, I mean, a lot of it is dated stuff, but I don't care. It's still good. So we discovered Pluto. I never used to watch it. They have all the old shows that you ever want to watch, like Witched and all that stuff. Oh
yeah. There's nothing really worth the theater for,
no, I don't think so.
except for the Conjuring that I was telling you.
No, I'm not going to Conjuring.
You should, you should see it, and we'll discuss it.
Hey, that's a no. I don't. I'm one of these people. I don't like to be scared out of my mind. I like a good psychological thriller. Like I love the like who did it and figure it out and ooh. But for the sake of just being afraid, like you go around the corner and boo, no.
Yeah, you know, Bella likes scary movies, but then it
And I
keeps
don't like
her.
being in my shower and have to look out and then seeing somebody in the mirror. Like that kind of stuff is just more than I could tolerate.
If you see somebody in your mirror, it's you, Babs.
I know.
Bella likes seeing scary movies. She just won't sleep for the next 2 nights.
Yeah, because she's scared
You know, now Daisy loves scary movies
and go right
uh,
to sleep.
and go right to sleep. And she carries, you know, her favorite doll is Chucky. She has a Chucky now. I told my daughter that, you know, that's not healthy. You should have never bought her a Chucky doll. That's not healthy. You know, but that's her favorite doll.
Well, you know what? She'll outgrow it.
He carrying Chucky. Chucky's holding a knife in his hand, and it's like
Or either she'll outgrow it or she'll become a serial killer. One or the other.
one or the
Just,
other.
just pay attention. She start catching squirrels and stuff, just like or Bella's little reptiles start finding their skins all over the place.
You
I just
can't
wanted a handbag.
you can't be turning the channel, and if Chucky's one of those channels, she'll be like, Papa, oh, go back, leave it. He's like, we're sticking with Chucky.
Like
Like,
Daisy, no, we're not watching that.
no, we're not.
Like that's a no, Bella. Daisy, that's a no.
Yeah, I always say, nope, I'll put Disney Plus for you, but that's as far as we're going.
That's it.
But if it ain't Disney, you ain't seen it.
Listen, over here ain't no Chucky over here, girl. Just FYI. Oh, pop. Oh, like yeah, no. I never took to the. I've seen all the scary movies when I was young. You know, I saw Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, oh,
Yeah. I mean, the scariest thing I saw when I was young was The Exorcist. And it's because but it's because my mother allowed the neighbor to take me with my friends to the theater. We weren't intending to see The Exorcist. It's just the movie we were there to see was sold out. So she said, let's go see The Exorcist. And all of us were in our seats like, oh, you know, we were like,
traumatized.
yeah. And I remember I came home and I just didn't know what to do with myself. I took all of my sister's dolls because we shared a room. I took all of my sister's dolls off her dresser and threw them in the closet. And my mother was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I turned off the light and I saw that head turn around like freaking The Exorcist. Because you remember the Barbie head?
Yes.
Yeah. I turned off the light and in the dark, I saw the head spin.
Yeah,
So
that's your imagination.
Yeah, so I grabbed all of the dolls and they were in the freaking closet the next morning. And it was like, oh my God. My mother said, you should have told her no. I'm like, I wasn't the adult.
Like I can't tell her no. And then what? Go sit in the sit out there in the concession stand for 2 hours.
Yeah. I was like, you gotta talk to your friend.
Like, that's adult to adult stuff.
I said, you gotta talk to your friend. That's not the conversation you have with me.
I'm a little kid. I go where adults tell me to go.
I remember I must have been like 9 or something.
I remember watching it, Harry. I was like, oh. And I remember Silence of the Lambs. That was another one. That was the last thing like that I saw because I was like, oh no.
That wasn't that scary.
It just messed with my. I don't like serial killer stuff.
Well, yeah, that is scary. Is serial killer scary, but it's not like paranormal scary. Is like
I don't mind paranormal stuff like alien stuff. I don't like supernatural stuff. Like I don't like that. Paranormal, supernatural. I don't like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
like ghost and
Like stuff dragging you out of your bed and stuff
yeah,
like that.
no way. Stuff that you can't kill, no way. Or you
Yeah.
gotta find, rituals and spell. Ah, I'm no good with that kind of stuff. Like no.
Yeah, it's funny because I will talk against, you know, being a Christian and all of this stuff. I'll be like, come on, you're putting faith. And as soon as I start seeing like the exorcist and stuff, I start rebuking in the name of Jesus through the whole movie. Through the whole movie, I'm going in the name of Jesus. In the- Jesus. How you like? I go from agnostic to Christian in a second.
Harry, I think everybody does that. I don't care. When people are like, oh, I don't believe. Who you gonna call when things get dicey? I'm calling Jesus.
Yo,
I don't care who you are. You're calling Jesus.
I'll be like, oof, in the name of Jesus, just in case.
I
Just in
listen to
case.
people. Oh, I'm agnostic. Let something jump off. Oh my Lord, Jesus. So remember them old school prayers. Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Making me lay down in green pastures. He restored my soul.
Yeah.
No, I walk through the shadow of the valley of death. I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. You gonna repeat all of that, Harry?
Yeah.
Everyone does.
I have a friend who's atheist, but if you go and listen to his playlist, his iPod, it's all Christian music. And I'm like, how? He goes,
What's
oh no,
happening here?
he's like, I like Christian music. It's positive. I'm like, oh, you're a faker. You're out there saying you're atheist, and your whole playlist is Christian music.
All praise. All praise.
Yeah.
It's all praising God. There's other music that is uplifting that doesn't praise God. He's faking the funk. He just likes saying he's an atheist. He's probably saying it so he don't got to go to somebody's church. Some girlfriend or some family member would drag him to church. Oh no, I don't believe. I don't want to go. Like no.
That's why I like to say I'm agnostic. But even that is a stretch. Because I want to believe something. And I'll lean towards the Christianity stuff because I was raised that way. But yeah, I want to believe something, but
the fact that you're breathing is the proof. That's what I say. The fact that you are breathing is the proof. The fact that you see the seasons is the proof. The fact that there's life on earth. And I'm a student of just about all the religions. I could find beauty in all of them, right? And the handiwork of God in all of them. So I don't really ascribe to declaring I'm Christian or I'm Muslim or whatever. I mean, you can declare all that all you want, but how you live it, that's what drives you, what your soul, what. And anybody can make declarations all the time. I believe in God. I believe in the story of Christ. I believe in the disciples and their story. I mean, I like all the stories, so that's it. Like,
well, you see, it's different for me. I believe in the power of something. I believe in the intelligent design. That it just wasn't by coincidence how perfect creation is. But I try not to lean on my my upbringing in Christianity so much. Hard.
well, I mean, it's a foundation for your upbringing is a foundation for a desire to understand or believe or want to believe a higher power, some kind of intelligent designer of things. That's all. You see it as a foundation, not the end all be all to anything. It's just giving a foundation. Somebody put you on a path to believing that there is no accident to this, that designed, that the
Well,
grass is green for a reason, and the sky is blue for a reason, and
that
water flows this way, and there's this so many species world, and you
that
know,
not so much, but the science of it all. Um, how how intelligently designed our physics and everything is. How everything actually you could put in an equation. Um, that more than anything is just perfect.
well, I mean, that's you can put anything to be in an equation. What is majestic is even if you put things in an equation, the majesty of things are amazing. Like by right, bumblebees should not be able to fly if you do the science. Even if you do the mathematical equation, they
Yeah,
should not be able to fly. But yet, bumblebees fly. Their body is like 100 times heavier than their wings should be able to carry them, and yet they fly. Octopus, there's no known species connected to octopus on this planet, and yet they exist. How do they exist?
they
You know,
exist. They continue to evolve.
I watched the video where the octopus got out the tank, opened the door, and got back in the ocean. Like, like I'm out.
Yes, you-
I watched the whole video. I was like, what? So I mean, there are things that just are inexplicable for now because we don't have the tools or the resources to explain them, but we will as time goes on, as people delve into science and learn things. You know, um, there are things about Newton that we've learned since that maybe he wasn't right about. I was like, oh, but he thought this in a limited pool of knowledge. But now we know so much more than the time of Newton or Ben Franklin, even Albert Einstein knows so much more than what they could think of.
right. I mean, Albert Einstein called quantum physics spooky science. Um, so and and I think we're to the point where we do, even the government who's admitting to the UFOs now are admitting that Obama the other day admitted that these craft move in a way that violates physics. That, well, at least our version of physics. That they move so fast without breaking the sound barrier. Stuff that just doesn't happen within our structure science. So yes, so that's
Well, I mean,
I've explained.
I also think too that ordinary Americans are not privy to the gains of all scientific exploration and discovery. So we don't really know what has been discovered or not been discovered because we're not scientists and we're not in that arena. Because I think they are doing amazing things around science that they're keeping close to their selves so that they can spend more time exploring it and working on it and doing it. That's
Right.
I do believe that.
Well, I believe that too, that we have, black projects, they like to call them, where everything's in the dark. But you have well-known scientists who talk against um, what they actually see on video. Stuff like when
Well, I mean, I think they have to do that. I mean, I think they have to do that because they have to protect funding. They have to protect other scientists. They have to protect the integrity of the work. You just don't run out here. It's just like
But
if
you
I'm a
think they know better?
basketball, if you're a basketball coach, you don't run out there and give everybody your game plan or how you're gonna play this game. You don't do that. You just like, no, well, you just get out there and say, we're gonna do the best we can. You don't take your playbook out there and say, like, listen, in the third quarter, this is what we're gonna do. The fourth quarter, this is what we're gonna do. You don't, no one does that. No good chef will bring you into their kitchen and give you all their recipes. It's not gonna do it. They'll put some in a book, be like, okay. But I mean, that just makes sense. You know, we have got to get out of this belief that there's some hidden. I mean, everybody has to protect what they have to protect. I mean, I do it, you do. Everybody has to do that. We don't run around telling all our business. So if you're a scientist and you see people with all these videos, you're like, okay, all right, well, that could be explained. That could be explained. You can explain that. But at the same time, you go back to your lab and you're like, almost they're almost coming close to finding out what we're working on. No, I understand. You know, the science bends to the will of politics too. Everything does. You know, particularly if you want to continue to do the work and you want to be funded to do the work, you've got to be quiet about stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're saying they know better. They're just not gonna say.
Well, that's everybody's job. Like that's everybody. Everybody does that on their job. Like, it's like if you work at McDonald's, you sign a clause that says you cannot go to Burger King and tell Burger King what is going on at McDonald's.
Yeah, you can't reveal the secret sauce.
You know, everybody has that.
But I can tell you what the secret sauce is. It's mayonnaise and ketchup mix.
Thank you. Kind of
Oh,
figured that out though.
I know.
I know.
Oh, you're taking my medication late.
Oh, I took mine this morning.
Oh,
Took
taking a
mine.
fistful of pills.
I did mine this morning. I just reach over. Now I'm like, I change my clothes. I have to figure out because I'm meeting somebody for coffee at 12. Then I'm meeting somebody else at 2:30 for more coffee.
So did you see yesterday the NFL ended a policy,
Yes, the racial not no norming.
yeah, that assumed black players had a lower cognitive function, which denied them of settlements for head injury. So they would say, well, you were this dumb to begin with. There's no way. It's it's insane. It's what year is it, Babz?
It's shameful. It's very shameful that the NFL. This is why I didn't allow my sons to play
Wow.
football. Why? And you know,
Wow, I would have done that on the sneak. I wouldn't admit it to that.
well, they have to admit it now because too
Oh
much
my
evidence.
God.
And the press leaks it, right? The press puts it out there, like it's in their documents and emails back and forth, and they set up a whole system to deny. And the NFL is 75%, 75 to 80% black, and they did that so they wouldn't have to pay these people claims.
Now
They wouldn't.
understand the term they used for this was race norming, right?
Yes, and so
Right?
they're trying to say that they did it so that they could alleviate bias.
What?
I know, foolishness. That's crap. So I hope all these people can go back and get claims entered in, at least the ones that are still alive. It's shameful, Harry. It's just shameful the way that they use these athletes. And then at the end of their careers, the end of their lives, when they need the support.
And they go back and sue the
Well,
commissioners of
listen,
old. The commissioners of old. Can we somehow get at them.
Well, this I think I think athletes, pro athletes all over this country are lawyering up and resubmitting.
No,
It's
this is
terrible.
insane.
That's why I don't watch football anymore. I don't I ever since Colin Kaepernick, I just stopped watching it. I just it just gave me a bad taste the way that they would go so far to protect racism, white supremacy. I just
Well, if you were if the Kaepernick thing didn't do it to you,
this ought to,
this should definitely do it to you.
you know.
Because oh my God, go and read this article. It's horrible. It's bad.
Well, this is about, that movie that Will Smith did. Remember the movie that Will Smith did about the doctor, the
Yeah.
African doctor who said,
What's the
listen,
name of it?
this brain damage is happening here. Like this concussion issue is a real problem. And then, it got swept under the rug. They didn't even want to entertain it. Like you can't tell me you can't take those many hits and these concussions don't harm you.
Yeah, yeah. It's oh, actually, the movie's name is
Yeah. I mean, so they knew about this. They had the science, they had the information, they had the data, they had the reports, they had all of that, and they still, it was just horrible. It's like
But
that
yeah, the
and
thing is
when
just that
these
they weren't
athletes
admitting.
die, Harry, and they do these autopsies, they find out their brains were so destroyed.
Destroyed.
So
Destroyed.
destroyed. Oh,
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing when you look at. I mean, the if you look at how violent a hit is, some of those hits are like you were in 3 car accidents at the same time.
yeah.
And they were trying to say it meant nothing. Really, it meant nothing. You get
And
up,
and
you
you
don't,
and you do that three times a week because they play 3
or
games, 2 games a week, right?
right, or do it for 25 plays in a game.
Right. And that's a game is what 3 or 4 hours, right? So 2 or 3 hours. I mean, that's just common sense. Like if we just thought about that, if people just was like, no, sad. That's why when these athletes retire at 25, I ain't mad at them. Damn that. Take your money and run. Get out.
Yeah,
Get out.
yeah. And lately, we've had quite a few athletes
So you know what? This is
just
too much
leave.
for me. I'm gonna leave it. But take my millions and I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They put their maybe 5, 6 years in, and
Because that's not a sport you could do for 10 years.
yeah, yeah. So, some people can, but then if you look at them, they sound like punch drunk fighters, like fighters who were fighting for too long.
That's why these quarterbacks, listen, got to get out. They want to be in there for 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. I'm like, you know what? Get out. Because you still are in your 40s.
Yeah,
Do you want to be in a wheelchair for your 50s? Get out. Take your money and get out. That's what I
yeah,
say.
yeah. It's because a lot of people see it as gladiators, our version of gladiators. And but it's tragic for these young men and their families.
I stayed away from dating athletes at that level, and I used to date athletes at that level, and at the collegiate level, and it requires so much because they are when you are an athlete at that level, you're always amped up. That's why you see so much domestic violence because you have to stay in a state of amped upness. You can't ever not be ready for battle. Even in the off season, they got to train as if they're playing tomorrow, right? So
Yeah.
it's this constant hyper. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. It's living in a testosterone filled state all the
uh,
time.
can't
Just
do it. I tell you what, I shy away from athletes and police officers. I don't date cops and I don't date CEOs. Don't. I don't. Because they got too much stress in their life, Harry. They got too much.
yeah,
Too much.
they got more than you on the mind.
Yeah. I can't do it. And I've done it. I've done it. That's why I'm telling you, I can't do it. I was like, no. Yeah, give me an old school clown. Give me an old school artist. Give me a gardener. Somebody who's got like a that's stress level. You know, seriously, I don't get it. I don't. It's too much. You have to deal with and contend with. I was like, no, thank you. I'll pass. I'll pass on these brothers right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, give me a gardener.
Give me the guy who works on the field.
Right. Guy who cuts the grass.
Yeah, the one who cuts the grass.
I don't go with the guy. I can still get in the game. Listen. I'll date the guy that cuts the grass. I not the guy that plays on the grass because that's just too much. Too much,
Yeah,
Harry.
you're right because it takes a warrior mentality. And that's exactly what we get from our soldiers who come home and don't know how to leave the war behind them. It takes that warrior mentality, and it's hard to break away from that mentality. Always being on.
You've been in that state of heightened testosterone, heightened adrenaline for a very long time. You're not gonna come home, Harry, and just start painting daisies on a canvas, right? Like some can do it. Don't get me wrong. There's some that have been successful with leaving that part of their lives behind and making a real effort to like, you know what? I'm gonna get zen and I'm gonna go do something. But not all of them. That's not even half of them. The most of them. You see what happens, Harry? They beat their wives. They beat their girlfriends. They get carry guns. They want to be. They do all these kinds of crazy things. It's just outrageous. Too much adrenaline,
Yeah.
too much testosterone, too much hyperactivity all the time. They're all the way up. No.
A baseball player, an Atlanta Braves baseball player, just got arrested for choking, for beating and choking him. And these athletes live and die with the games. That's another thing that they work so hard to win, and when they don't win, I'm not trying to judge any of the athletes, but I see just fans who live and die with the
No,
sport.
and they got no skin in that game.
Yeah.
Like,
I
why are
see
you hyped?
Yeah, fans be like their team lost and it's like they lost a family member. And I'm like,
You're right.
relax. It's not that serious. And if you're putting money on it, that's not you. That's dumb. Don't put money on anything like that you can't control. It's just crazy. So yeah, I mean, so it's that's a hard profession, but there's a lot of benefits, but the risk.
Oh, lots, but yeah, it's too much. Listen. I've done my time dating them, and and somebody like me that comes from an abusive childhood, you know, you gravitate toward that kind of abuse. Quite familiar. So you gravitate toward it because you know it. And I had to part of my healing, I had to learn how to not gravitate toward that familiarity of abuse. Because what happens is you get to that abuse, Harry, and you start explaining it in a way, you start automatically explaining away why somebody push you, hit you, talk to you that way, why they treat you that way, because you come from that and you are used to it. It's familiar. So you have to you have to really notice that and go the other way. That's what I had to do because I found myself in these relationships where they were very familiar to what I grew up to. And I had to, oh, this is not how I want to live. This is not how I want to live. Not how I want to live. And I had to break my own cycle of that foolishness, you know. You have to do it. So otherwise you'll be somebody's you'll just find yourself in these violent situations where you'll be murdered. We've seen too many women murdered by athletes.
Yeah, and first let me take a second to say I like your earrings.
Oh, thank you.
I recognize that Babz has nice earrings because that's how I am.
Today.
Just saying.
You notice it today. It's a woman, right? You see her?
Yeah.
Black woman. Yeah.
Yeah, the way it's laying is like perfect. They're both looking at each other and it's very perceptive that way.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So no, so
Today.
did you see the story of the 14 and 12-year-old in Florida?
Harry, what the hell?
They
I'm glad they didn't kill them kids.
they had a serious shootout with the police.
Harry, they was dead serious. And I saw the father. He was like a Looney Tune. They were in foster care because the parents, whatever.
Yeah.
They were in foster care. And the father was like, I saw my
the
daughter with a shotgun. I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's all you got to say?
No, well, they showed the parents. I didn't see that.
Yeah, the father. The father.
Okay.
I didn't see the mother, the father. But they weren't with their parents. These kids ran away from the foster home. Ran away from the foster home, broke into somebody's house, found those guns, and then
they found a shotgun and an AK-47.
What?
Okay, wait a minute. I understand the kids are in trouble, but you had a shotgun and an AK-47 just laying around?
Well, he thought he was gonna have a bad day.
What?
Because you have a bad day.
You gotta find my stuff. You can't just go come into my house and pick up anything. That's insane.
Harry, we got a gun sickness in the country.
Woo.
We have a gun sickness. When kids can break into your house and find like laying around like it's like loose change
on the kitchen counter. Like, where was it? Where was it?
I don't even know. Where was it where kids could just find it?
Yeah.
Like these are a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Woo. It's crazy, and it had to be. The AK had to be loaded.
It was loaded. They were shooting.
Yeah, it's like it had. I'm saying that it's not just something you easily do. You find an AK and you know how to shoot it and load it.
Listen, I'm just glad they didn't kill them kids. So cops are capable of not killing people.
Or they missed, Babz.
Or no, they're capable of not killing people. Now, had they been black children, I'm not so sure.
So, see, I didn't see. So they were white kids?
Yeah, they're white kids.
Yeah, I didn't see.
And that's why they're still alive, because they're white kids. They were black kids, they would have been killed. There's no doubt in my mind they would have said, oh, that 14-year-old looked like a grown-ass man, and that 12-year-old looked like a grown-ass woman, and we had to kill them. So there's no doubt in my mind. There's no arguing that point. But these little white kids, I'm glad they did not kill these children because they are children.
Well, there were a lot of rounds shot on each side.
Harry, and then wait, these kids thought that you could hear them talking about they was shooting like they was playing video games. Now you know somebody need to whoop their little asses, right? I know all their people out there like, oh, corporal punishment. Harry, those are kids that need an ass whooping.
You know,
I'm
I think
sorry.
I think when you're ready in a juvenile facility,
Oh, foster care. Yeah,
yeah,
you might have had too many ass whoopings,
yeah,
but
you might have been there already, been
yeah,
there, done that.
yeah, you might have been there, done that. These kids are gonna need something else. They got listen. If they're gonna turn these little Bonnie and Clyde kids around,
Exactly, because the 12-year-old was a girl.
they're gonna turn little Bonnie and Clyde around. They're gonna have to do it now, Harry. They're gonna have to do it now because they done got a taste for this.
Yeah, they're like a rabid dog. Once they
Ooh,
once they taste you,
they got a taste for it now, and
and
they
they
weren't afraid. Like what?
and
They was playing like they had a playing like they was playing a game. Kids like that. What do you do with that, Harry? I mean, and I don't. Do they deserve to be locked up? They're little kids. That means we have to do something else. This says we have to do something else.
okay, but what's the something else? They just
I don't know, Harry, but so,
I think you do have to.
you need Dr. Phil to come in here on this one. You know what you need? You need a tag team of Dr. Phil and Iyanla Van Zandt. That's what you need. You need that right there. And some Dave Chappelle. You need a combination of Dave Chappelle, Iyanla Van Zandt,
I don't know.
and Dr. Phil.
Yeah,
And that will get them right.
I think some kids. Oh, I want to say this. I think you can't save everybody. I just think some kids are
No.
lost.
Anything we love, we can save. That's a
Oh,
quote from uh, Toni Morrison. Anything we love can be
yeah,
saved.
but
I think Toni Morrison or Alice Walker, one of them.
I don't know. I don't. I don't think so. Because who's gonna love them if if their parents fail them?
Are you talking to somebody who adopted 4 children? Are you kidding me?
Oh, you see, but it's different. You see,
They were foster children.
but they're not. That's not. Everybody's not in Bab's orbit. Okay, there's plenty of kids out there who will never see a home
Like
except for their,
Alice Walker. Anything we love can't be saved.
So I mean,
That's not true. I am not. I am not unique. I am not a unicorn. There are people out there that can do that.
no, I
That
know,
can
but there's
love
so
these
many kids.
children.
There's so many kids who don't ever get that.
Well, then we need to have a real push to create forever homes for children like that. We can do that if we can create ways to bond people every which way but Sunday, and we can create opportunities to to parent children who need it. That's got to be our mission. That's got to be our mission. It really does,
And then
and
you
we
see
can.
the 9-year-old in Utah. 9-year-old gets into her parents' car with her young 4-year-old sister to drive to California for vacation. And she ran
Could
into
she drive?
she ran into a semi truck. They yeah,
Did she
but you
die?
he tried to drive.
No. Are they alive?
Oh, they're alive.
Now they need an
They
ass whooping.
she buckled the 4-year-old in and put on her own seatbelt. So that's the one thing that they didn't
Well,
get.
where were their parents when these kids was getting in the car and starting it?
Yeah.
See
They,
that's where that's where I'm concerned about. Where were the parents not noticing that these kids are? Because when you start a car, Harry, you can hear it. Was they driving a Tesla? Because that's the only other car that you can't hear start up.
I
You
guess
can't hear a Tesla, but if they don't have a Tesla, every car they have, you can hear it.
yeah, I guess they told her no to a vacation.
And how long do you not know? How much time has to pass, Harry, where you don't know what your kids are doing? These white people. These are
Well,
white people.
this was at 5 a.m.
See, see.
So the kid got up early.
And the doors ain't locked?
He's 9 years old. Bella's 9. So Bella
Oh, yeah,
could,
so they could unlock the door. They could get the keys. Oh, yeah.
you know, the girl drove 10 miles away from her home before crashing.
Shoot, Harry. Imagine getting that call. Oh, Harry, I would march to that scene. Dun, 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 and I would have slapped the taste out her mouth.
Yeah, you're happy, and then you gotta.
First of all, she'd get the taste slapped out of her mouth. Because that's you know, these newfangled kids, Harry, they don't really got any fear of their parents. Like, I had a little bit of fear of my mother, right? And my mother wasn't a wild woman. She was a very quiet,
And that's
didn't cuss
literally
kind of woman.
that's literally Bella and Daisy's age, 9 and 4.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I think kids have to have a little bit of fear of their parents in terms of, if I do this, I don't know what my mother or father will do.
Yeah. You know, is it better
just a little bit of that, Harry. Now, I'm not saying you beat the crap out your kids, but a little bit of fear, Harry, like, rethink this.
Yeah, you know, something other than, if I do this, I'm gonna get a timeout.
Right. Or I'll get my phone taken away. No.
Yeah, you know?
No, if you do this, you're gonna get the whooping of your damn life, and then you'll be on punishment for the summer. There's gotta be a little hint of fear. Like, I know people out there are disagreeing with me, and they're gonna send me notes. Oh, that's no way to raise children. Talk to me when you raise some children, number one. Talk to me when you successfully raise some children, number two. Talk to me, don't tell me timeout works. There are times when you need timeout, Harry. Get your butt over there and sit down, right? Remember your mom used to say that to you? My mom used to say, get over there and sit down. Don't let me hear you.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Those children had a lot of freedom.
When you're 12 years old or something, when you're that old, timeout don't work.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you should slap kids all the time.
No.
And all of that. But I remember Tony Harp said, a good ass whooping gets their attention.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, yeah. I mean,
not all the time, Harry. But you know, sometimes a good ass whooping will, like, you know what? I don't want that ever again. Let me just
exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Exactly. You know, I remember my son rode his bike into the street. I'm watching him from my front steps, and he thinks I'm not watching him. So I see him. He was like 5 years old, and he was riding his bike. And he rode into the street, and then, you know, he rode for another maybe 15 feet, and then got back on the driveway, a neighbor's driveway, to come back in. And then when he came back, I hit his butt, right? So hard. I went. And he was like, first time I ever had struck him. So he was like so terrified. And I remember the next day he came to me at breakfast, and he goes, Dad, I'll never do anything ever again. I just want you to hit me again. I'm like, deal. You don't do anything. I said, you don't do anything, and I'll never get at your butt again. And he never gave me a reason after that.
There you go. Sometimes you got to do one good time. Sometimes, Harry, for some kids, one good time is enough.
Yep.
Is enough. Margot was like that. One good time was enough. No. Like, okay, I see how they're going to get down. Let me.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, my mother wasn't a violent person.
No, neither was mine. I can count on my hands the times I got whooped.
Right.
You know, it wasn't but there were times when I think about it, Harry, I deserved listen.
Definitely me. You know, my mouth sometimes was cashing checks that my ass couldn't You know, or writing checks that my ass couldn't cash.
Yes, baby.
You know, so yeah, so sometimes I needed to get smacked in the mouth. That's not stuff, you know, that's not stuff that we do these days, but all because we're to the point, like right now, if Bella's in my house or Daisy's in my house, all it takes is a look and they fall in line. But
Yes.
if that look isn't getting you in line, it might go to the next step where you're hitting them in the butt. Happen. I'm not saying beat. I'm not saying beat your kid. That's crazy. That's insane.
No, I'm not suggesting that. All right, we gotta go. Look what time it is. And the beat goes on. All right, play us some more of that fly music to get us out. We gotta go. We 2 minutes over. Who's behind me? Who gonna whine?
That's my phone ringing. Babz is calling me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't have that music queued up, but
okay.
We go.
Deuces. See y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Criminal Justice Insider with Jeff Grant, and then I'm back by myself at 10 o'clock. Harry, talking more about, beating the hell out of your kids.
No.
Or not.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.